On this Saturday night, a valiant effort by a Team Canada that made a nation proud. Canada's World Cup journey comes to an end in Houston against Morocco.
It was a tough loss, but honestly, we played really well.
But fans from coast to coast to coast celebrate an historic run.
Fantastic for Canada and for Canada soccer.
A divisive July 4th.
I do think the U.S. stands at a crossroads.
How America's 250th birthday is being marked by extreme weather and extreme politics. The start of a 6-day funeral for Iran's former supreme leader brings out mourners by the thousands to the streets of Tehran. And spotted off Vancouver Island.
Definitely a really rare encounter.
What a sighting of the second largest animal on the planet means for its species and others.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Colleen Christie.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Canada's men's soccer team has already made history several times during this World Cup. And today in Houston, Texas, the players were looking to continue their unprecedented run. But it wasn't to be. The team lost to powerhouse Morocco after a campaign that has rewritten Canadian soccer history. Sarah MacDonald is in Houston, where Canadian pride remains strong. Sarah.
Yeah, Colleen, there is some deflation here in Houston today and among Canadian fans all around the world. But there's also excitement because this is also something to celebrate. The fact that Team Canada made it to the round of 16 in the World Cup is something huge.
Happy birthday to you!
Even on the 4th of July, pockets of Houston, Texas were all about Canadian pride.
I love Canada so much, baby.
The Maple Leaf landing in the Lone Star State, meeting soccer powerhouse Morocco on the pitch in the round of 16. The fact the team made it here at all, coming within striking distance of the quarterfinals, already historic even before kickoff. And even ultimately without a win. Canada taking a 3-0 loss topped off with a late-game goal. A definitive end to a hard-fought battle. Still, Saturday's game was one of the most momentous in Canadian sports history.
We're all from Texas.
Enough to inspire soccer fans to the south, like this family from Austin, to switch loyalties from the Stars and the Stripes.
Yeah, number one! Yeah!
At least for the day.
I live in Houston.
And we converted it. Look at us.
And I'm a Canadian today on Independence Day.
Americans like Lloyd Hicard not shy about supporting their neighbors to the north. The magnitude of this World Cup moment not lost on the fans who flew in from all around the world to be here.
It's history today. I'm so excited to be here.
We've never been this far in the World Cup before. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And most certainly not on the players.
Here we are, and we deserve to be here. And if you're here, there's no reason why we can't make it, another step.
We're confident. We're confident.
While knocking off Morocco Saturday would have been a seismic event.
We're going into it like we got it, but we go into it like any other game. We're just ready for whatever happens.
Canada, in some ways, still comes out on top.
It feels great. This is like the best day of my life.
The team and the country, all too often counted out when it comes to soccer, may no longer be a contender for the World Cup, but
we drove down from Vancouver and surprised him on his birthday.
Canadian kids like Eric now have a whole new dream that's within reach.
It's amazing to be here as a family and cheer on Canada.
His family now among the countless Canadians proud of their team and their country.
Go Canada!
All the same. It is now Morocco advancing to play in Boston on Thursday. Not the outcome that Canada wanted, of course, but all along the team's players and its coach, Jesse Marsh, have maintained that this is the start of a much bigger movement, one that is inspiring a whole new generation of soccer players across the country and a whole new legion of soccer fans, Colleen, as the team's historic World Cup winning streak comes to an end here in Houston, Texas.
All right. Sarah MacDonald in Houston. Thanks, Sarah. It's expected Canadian viewership for this World Cup match could break records. People right across the country were watching today, including the Prime Minister. Mark Carney posted nothing but pride for the Canadian men's national team today. An incredible run and a sign of what's to come. So many Canadians got up and at 'em early this Saturday morning to cheer on their country. Global's Sean O'Shea is in Toronto at one of many watch parties. Sean.
Heartbreak for Canadian fans watching this game from home with so much hope.
Come on, Canada, let's go!
Here in Toronto, fans showed up at this watch party beside Lake Ontario several hours in advance to get a place to see the team play, and they came confident Canada could prevail.
Oh, I hope we're going to win, but it's going to be tough.
A lot of people will be inspired by what happens today. If Canada wins, oh my God, it's going to be crazy.
And inside the viewing area, fans cheered loudly for Canada, as they did at watch parties in other parts of the country, including Vancouver.
It's nice to see so many people come out for soccer, and especially in Canada. It's been awesome.
It's been unbelievable. It's been a revelation for, I mean, look around us. Look at all the young people. It's fantastic for Canada and for Canada soccer.
Canada was certainly the underdog coming into the match, but the team dominated play and possession in the first half. But as the fans watched Morocco score 2 goals and then 3, the Canadian effort wasn't enough.
Not the outcome we hoped for, but we're really proud of them. They did so well in the first half.
I don't have enough words to express how proud, how much love and gratitude I have for this team.
There's no other country I'd rather live in. There's no other country I'd rather support. We bleed red for a reason. We have maple syrup in our brain for a reason. We burn red.
Canadian fans so wishing for a big win here were disappointed, but as you heard, no denying the pride in this team for making it so far. Colleen.
All right, Sean O'Shea in Toronto. Thanks, Sean. In the Northwest Territories, an out-of-control wildfire continues to threaten the community of Fort Simpson, with officials describing the situation as dynamic. The fire is now more than 15,000 hectares in size. Crews fighting the blaze have also been keeping an eye on the shifting winds. Those conditions could determine whether or not the blaze moves closer to the community. The village of around 1,300 people has been under an evacuation order since Sunday. The United States of America is celebrating a milestone birthday today, 250 years since declaring independence from Great Britain. From tall ships sailing up the Hudson River to a massive concert in Los Angeles tonight. Even the Artemis II astronauts, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen, throwing the first pitch in the July 4th baseball game between the Pirates and the Nationals in D.C. There are events happening throughout the country. The festivities will culminate in a massive fireworks display in the Capitol tonight, one the President has touted as record-breaking as millions battle a heat wave. Today, the U.S. has a lot to reflect on, not just its past, but its present and future under an administration bent on changing what defines the country. Heidi Petracek reports on how some Americans are feeling as they mark this moment in their history.
Flyovers and parades, all part of America's big celebration as millions mark the country's semi-quincentennial.
It's really, really fun because we get to make memories and share the moment.
To stand for freedom, for family, for God, that's huge for me.
But getting to this moment hasn't been easy. First, the extreme heat hanging over more than a dozen states has postponed some events and canceled others. As Americans push through the dangerously high temperatures, they also know beneath the unity of the red, white, and blue is a nation wrestling with itself.
Almost like there should be 2 separate sets of states, which is unfortunate.
No matter what, there's always work that needs to be done, right?
We got a long way to grow.
Conflict is nothing new here. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement, the nation has long relied on the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution as guiding principles.
That's what makes U.S. citizens, our belief in those ideals. What does life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness actually mean in practice?
The first year of Donald Trump's second term has tested those ideals.
As we approach this magnificent anniversary, we see our American identity under a renewed attack.
Friday night, the president claimed newcomers pose a communist threat to the country, leaning into his stance on immigration, which has led to violent crackdowns, mass deportations, and efforts to restrict birthright citizenship.
I do think the U.S. stands at a crossroads, and we have a combination of media and technology that make it possible for things to spiral very quickly.
But history moves in unpredictable ways, and it depends a lot on the will and organization of people to move it.
Independence Day has brought Americans together under the same flag. The next test will be midterm elections in the fall, when voters will choose whether to stay the course of their nation or change it. Colleen.
Heidi Petracek in Washington. Thanks, Heidi. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and King Charles have passed on birthday wishes to the U.S. In their message, the King and Queen Camilla made a point of the relationship between the UK and the USA, describing it as built on friendship, trust, and a belief in liberty, the rule of law, and the dignity of all people. Prime Minister Mark Carney wished our neighbours a happy birthday and to celebrate the enduring friendship between our two nations and everything we have built. Pope Leo marked July 4th with a mass in Europe's migration epicenter, Lampedusa. The tiny Sicilian island is known as the first port of call for migrants sailing from North Africa. The pontiff honored the tens of thousands of people who have died trying to reach the safety of Europe. In a letter sent to Americans on Independence Day, the pontiff said defending human life also includes welcoming, protecting, and assisting immigrants whose hopes, sacrifices, and contributions have formed part of the history of the U.S. from its very beginning. In Iran, hundreds of thousands of mourners have gathered in Tehran for the funeral of the former supreme leader. The crowds chanting revenge as many wept and beat their chests as they witnessed the coffin of Ayatollah Ali Khomeini and 4 of his family members who were also killed, draped in the Iranian flag. Today's ceremony, just one of many that will take place over the next week as the country bids farewell to its former leader. One-on-one with the U.S. ambassador to Canada on Kuzma and why he says the new Gordie Howe Bridge between our nations remains closed. Coming up. Uncertainty remains over a new border crossing between Ontario and Michigan. The Gordie Howe Bridge was completed last month, but its opening has been postponed as it seemingly draws the ire of the Trump administration. In an exclusive interview, our Mackenzie Gray spoke with U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, to explain the White House's issue over the bridge and apparent donations from an American group that's lobbied against it.
Dear Mr. President,
for years, the owners of the Ambassador Bridge have lobbied to make sure the new Gordie Howe Bridge won't open, including a $1 million donation to a Donald Trump super PAC.
Happy Independence Day.
But in an exclusive broadcast interview with Global News, U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra says those donations from Detroit's Maroon family don't matter.
Is the administration doing this because of the donations you received from the Maroon family?
Absolutely not. There's legitimate issues here that we're resolving. The bridge was not opened when it was announced a couple of weeks ago by mutual agreement of the Canadian government and the U.S. government.
The New York Times has reported Ambassador Bridge owner Matthew Maroon met with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick just hours before Donald Trump threatened to not open the bridge in February. The Prime Minister has said the new Detroit-Windsor crossing was not opened at the request of the Americans, despite the fact that Canada has paid for the entire cost of the bridge and will share ownership with Michigan, 50-50. A deal Hoekstra believes isn't good enough.
So right now we're looking at 2 issues that concern control of the bridge, tariff setting, where the money flows.
Currently, toll money will flow to Michigan after Canada is made whole for the $6.4 billion they've put up to build the bridge. But Hoekstra wants more money sooner.
Americans are contributing significantly more than half of the revenue that we'll pay back, and it's paid for from revenue coming from the Ambassador Bridge, which is 100% an American-owned company.
Despite Hoekstra's complaints, he does have some positivity.
We can reach an agreement on this bridge that is not tied into the larger Kuzma negotiations, USMCA negotiations, and that we will, I think there's a good possibility. I'm optimistic we'll open the bridge relatively soon.
But on free trade negotiations, the ambassador was less enthusiastic.
There's maybe been some progress, but not the significant amount of progress that says, okay, we know exactly where we're going. Now let's fill out the details.
Canada is yet to have formal negotiations with the Americans, who have sat down with the Mexicans twice. Mark Carney has routinely pointed to Canada having the best deal possible with the U.S. due to tariff exemptions on free trade products. But will that continue?
Will you guarantee that the Kuzma exemption that is on most of these tariffs already will remain?
I'm not in a position to guarantee anything. These decisions are made at the White House. They are made by the president.
Hoekstra equally non-committal on if the Americans actually want a free trade deal or if they'll follow through on Donald Trump's threats to rip up the deal.
6 months formal termination out of the deal. Is that something that your administration is considering?
I'm sure that with the president all options are on the table, that clearly is allowed for within the agreement.
Hoekstra again outlined frustration over provincial alcohol bans and American companies not being able to bid on government contracts, Colleen, citing them as reasons why negotiations have been slow.
Mackenzie Gray in Ottawa. Thanks, Mackenzie. Ahead, waste not, want not. Should Canada follow California's lead in banning best before dates on food? This week, California banned the use of consumer sell-by labeling on most food products. It's an effort to reduce the vast amount of food thrown out over confusion about expiration, best before, and sell-by dates. With other states exploring similar legislation, Jillian Piper looks into whether California's model could work in Canada.
These small dates amount to huge confusion.
It's kind of unclear because of this mixed message we're getting around best before.
I thought best before dates were expiry dates. So yeah, no, I don't think it's clear at all.
Best before labels are meant to indicate peak quality, but many Canadians mistake them for expiration dates, which indicate a food is no longer safe to eat.
The research says $12 billion of perfectly edible, avoidable food waste is attributed to a best before date.
Those dates are the cause of nearly a quarter of all food waste in this country, more than in the U.S. and Europe. A new law went into effect in California this week aimed at lowering that statistic, banning sell-by food labels, which force a store to remove edible products from their shelves after a time determined by the manufacturer.
Health Canada should be putting something perhaps out there for people for a little bit more transparency.
Most Canadian products don't have sell-by dates printed on the packaging, but stores sometimes receive them in product shipments. This independent Ottawa grocer tries to cut down on that waste by giving goods past deadline to a food bank in need.
On the average of about 5 crates every 2 weeks of best before dates.
California is also standardizing its consumer food labels, opting for best if used by for product quality and used by for safety, similar to Canada's regime. But this food economist says greater public awareness is needed for those markers to actually work.
If we could get some clarity amongst people about what the dates are, then perhaps we wouldn't have to remove them. But right now, they are profoundly misunderstood.
That misunderstanding prompting some shoppers to come up with creative systems.
I rely on my sense of smell, and if something looks like it's gone bad, I won't eat it. But if it says that it's expired, I don't necessarily pay attention to that.
Even suggesting labels of their own.
I guess tell people that, hey, maybe when it smells bad, don't eat it.
Clarity food manufacturers could learn from. Jillian Piper, Global News, Ottawa.
Wildlife officers in Alberta are searching for a poacher after the discovery of a second grizzly carcass near the town of Sundre. Both bears were illegally shot and left along the side of a highway. Based on the proximity of the bears and the state of decomposition, officials believe both were killed on the evening of June 13th. A cash reward may be offered to anyone who provides a successful tip. The incredible sight off Vancouver Island that has even experts astounded. What it may indicate next. A 2,200-pound elephant seal in Australia, known to be a bit of a brute, has become an internet celebrity. Neil the seal is a frequent visitor to the coastline of southern Tasmania. While he spends a lot of time lazing about, he also has a wild side and is known to crash into bollards, signs, fences, and cars. A fan account for Neil currently has 1.5 million followers. But there are now concerns for his safety, and authorities are urging Neil's fans to leave him alone. An extremely rare sight off Victoria recently, one that has even experts in awe. The second largest species of animal in the world, a fin whale, was spotted. As Kylie Stanton reports, the increase in these types of sightings is being attributed in part to conservation efforts.
At more than 21 meters long, the second largest animal on the planet may be hard to miss, but surprisingly, even harder to find.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going out on the water for about 10 years now, and this was my first time. So definitely a really rare encounter.
The fin whale was spotted on June 28th near Race Rocks in the Salish Sea. It's only the 6th documentation here since 2015, catching even experienced naturalists off guard.
When we found it, great excitement on the boat because, you don't wake up in the morning thinking you're going to see an animal that size.
Fin whales are considered a species at risk after the population was decimated by commercial whaling. Now there are less than 2,000 of these animals off the BC coast.
We spotted a blow.
The sighting comes a week after a rare North Pacific right whale was documented near Malcolm Island. Both species were hunted to near extinction, but experts say the protection is paying off.
The habitats that they would have historically used, certainly they have the opportunity to come and recolonize them and reclaim them, and taking care of the oceans, ensuring that the whole ecosystem is healthy, will give these animals the best chance that they can have.
But as more whales return to these waters, so does their risk of vessel strikes, and fin whales are especially susceptible.
Every captain, every crew member needs to be aware that these whales live in these waters and we share them with them, and we need to do everything we can to reduce the risk of ship collision because it is lethal for the whales.
Researchers hope to soon identify this whale in an effort to keep tabs on it going forward. Because sometimes seeing really is believing.
There's nothing more powerful than inspiring someone to care about a wild animal than seeing them in their natural habitat in an ethical and sustainable way.
Kylie Stanton, Global News.
And that is Global National for this Saturday night. I'm Colleen Christie. Tonight's Your Canada is the Gull Harbour Lighthouse on Hecla Island, Manitoba. We love seeing Your Canada. Please keep emailing your photos to globalnational@globalnews.ca. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Have a good night.